Welcome to today's Global Connections program. I'm Bill Miller. Today we're going to take a look at two really interesting organizations, the United States Peace Corps and Rotary International, that are doing yeoman work around the world to promote humanitarian programs and to help improve the lives of people in many areas and in many different countries around the world. My guests are experts on both of these organizations. Mr. John Hewko is the General Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation. From 2004 to 2009, Mr. Hewko was Vice President for Operations and Compact Development for the Millennium Challenge Corporation. My second guest is Carol Spahn. Carol Spahn, currently the Acting Director of the United States Peace Corps and a former Peace Corps volunteer herself in Romania, brings more than 25 years of public and private sector experience working in countries around the world on issues ranging from small business development to infectious disease prevention and women's empowerment. John Hewko, Carol Spahn, welcome to today's Global Connections program.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
I appreciate you being with me today. Thank you. What I thought we might do, we got some really important announcements to make as we go through the program, but I thought we might want to just lay the groundwork a little bit for some folks who may not have a full idea of what Rotary is about and what the U.S. Peace Corps is about. And so I thought we'd just talk about those briefly and show some brief videos, and then we'll get into what the Rotary Peace Corps Week is going to be about. John, let's just start with you. You and I have talked about this before, and I've got to give full disclosure. I've got one foot in each camp. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in the Dominican Republic, and I've been an active Rotarian for about 40 years now. So I have a little bit of a bias, shall we say. Let's just put it like that. But anyway, John, you recall that you and I weren't around, but in 1905, Paul Harris, an attorney in Chicago, Illinois, launched Rotary International. And today, Rotary has grown to nearly 1.2 million members, over 34,000 Rotary clubs in over 200 countries and territories around the world. Your motto is service above self. What did Paul Harris want to do when he launched that club in 1905?
Well, I think, as you mentioned, Paul Harris set up Rotary in Chicago, and the original idea, it was sort of to create a LinkedIn before anybody had actually heard of LinkedIn. And the idea was to bring together community leaders to really help themselves with their businesses, to provide business leads to each other. And so the original idea was very much sort of based on a LinkedIn concept. And then shortly thereafter, they added this sort of service component to what the Rotary clubs do. And so today, as you mentioned, Bill, Rotary has 1.2 million members. Actually 36,000 clubs in over 200 countries and territories. And we sort of are the intersection, I would say, between commerce and cause. And so you would join a Rotary club, one, to network professionally, for the fellowship, to sort of get together and have a great time with other people, but also to do good in your community, whether it be at the local, the regional, the state, or the international level. Our sort of signature global initiative is the eradication of polio. Back in sort of 1985, Rotary had the kind of audacity to say, we're going to eradicate a disease from the face of the earth. And at that time, only one other disease, smallpox, had been eradicated. We were then joined by WHO, UNICEF, and CDC, and more recently the Gates Foundation and Gavi to create the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. And we had about 350,000 cases of polio around the world when we started this initiative, and we're down to just 2 countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan, where the wild polio virus is still circulating. So we're very, very close to really leaving a legacy for as long as mankind inhabits the earth with polio eradication. But it's also much more than that. Our motto of service above self really conveys our philosophy of volunteership, giving back to the communities. And our Rotarians around the world are involved in myriad of projects, anywhere from water and sanitation to literacy, disease prevention and treatment, community development. We run one of the largest youth exchange programs in the world. So it really is, I would say, this sort of unique organization that brings together these concepts of commerce and cause. Help yourself professionally, but also at the same time, give back to your community, whether it be on the local, regional, or global level.
Exactly. That's certainly what it does. And of course, I'm glad you mentioned the unique partnership between Rotary and the United Nations World Health Organization, UN Children's Fund, Centers for Disease Control, and now the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and many other groups too, working with Rotary to eliminate the scourge of polio. We've got a short video, it's about 1 minute, that talks about Rotarians or people of action. But let's take a look at that, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the Peace Corps.
For over 100 years, Rotary members have taken action when challenges arise. We know what people can do when they come together and put others before themselves.
The team lead said they will continue the campaign to fight against the coronavirus.
Local Rotary clubs deliver food and supplies to people in need.
Strangers become friends, helping hands multiply, and problems turn into solutions. We are Rotary. We are people of action. Learn more at rotary.org/action.
John, that certainly summarizes what Rotary is about. And people who are not Rotarians should be Rotarians, but they will get an idea of exactly how involved the Rotarians are in their communities and internationally speaking. Well, let's shift gears for a moment and talk with Carol Spahn. Carol, again, welcome to our Global Connections TV show. Now, in 1961, President John F. Kennedy established the U.S. Peace Corps, and this is in 2021, you had your 60th anniversary. And this has been a really unique concept to provide technical assistance to many economically developing countries. As I recall, over the years, there have been about 250,000 Americans who are returned Peace Corps volunteers who have worked in other countries. Today, you have about, what, 7,000 volunteers in a little over 60 countries around the world that will be going back into their countries once we get through this COVID pandemic?
That's correct, Bill.
What are the three goals of Peace Corps?
Well, as you mentioned, President John F. Kennedy founded the Peace Corps 60 years ago to promote world peace and friendship, which is a very, very lofty and ambitious goal. And, I often say that world peace and friendship is not just the work of politicians or of governments, it's the work of individuals around the world coming together across difference. So in the Peace Corps Act, the three goals of the Peace Corps are, first, to help the people of interested countries in meeting their need for trained individuals. So it's a developmental goal and really based on those requests that come in from countries that ask for our support. Second, we help promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the people we're serving, and we help promote a better understanding of other people on the part of Americans. So essentially, it is a cross-cultural exchange, bridging divides and overcoming differences as we work together side by side. Volunteers go out at the invitation of foreign governments, and they go into local communities and they work on locally identified priorities and really share the diversity of America. So it is very much an organization that is based on cross-cultural respect, deep partnership, and really working together on those issues that are most challenging.
When I was in the Peace Corps, there were several functional areas, but the three big ones were volunteers who worked in education, urban community development, rural community development. Have those categories changed or have they expanded? Or what are your main categories today?
Sure. Well, we've got 6 primary sectors that we work in. Health is obviously, a very big one and very prominent right now as we think about going back into the world following the COVID pandemic. Education is our biggest sector. We also work in agriculture, environment, youth and development, and community economic development.
And our viewers who would like more information on both the Peace Corps and Rotary, they can go to peacecorps.gov, www.peacecorps.gov, or to www.rotary.org. Well, Carol, we've got a short video. I think it's an excellent video of President John F. Kennedy and other folks explaining what the Peace Corps is about. It runs for about 2 minutes, 55 seconds, but let's take a look at that and we'll come back and talk about Peace Corps again.
Sure.
But what does the man who started the Peace Corps think about it now?
The willingness of all Americans, men and women, young and old, to serve in the Peace Corps, to serve in all parts of the world, to serve at little pay, to do jobs that most of them have never done before, is one of the most encouraging manifestations of the American spirit this country has seen in many years. The Peace Corps gives us a chance to show a side of our country which is too often submerged. Our desire to live in peace, our desire to be of help.
Today, hope endures. In fact, it's as strong as it was when we started our journey in 1961, maybe even stronger. Every day, Peace Corps volunteers and all of us who support them wake up and spend the day working hard to make the world a better place. The larger causes we serve are the farmers in Panama, businesswomen in Albania, students in Rwanda, environmentalists in Jamaica, healthcare workers in South Africa. Our work is manifested in them and the thousands and thousands of others we'll never meet. It's a two-way street. Or, more accurately with Peace Corps, a two-way dirt road or footpath. And that volunteers venture to far-flung corners of the world and bring back to the United States after they serve more knowledge of, compassion for, and ability to ensure peace. They live it, promote it, and never stop sharing it. Peace is the first word of who we are. That our mission and goals haven't changed in nearly 60 years is rare, and so are we. The peace and freedom President Kennedy harnessed then continues now. That spirit still sparks our service. Who are we? We're the Peace Corps.
I hope this spirit will grow, that hundreds of others of young Americans and older Americans will go overseas to show our best side, to show how much we desire to live at peace. There can be no greater service to our country, and no source of pride more real than to be a member of the Peace Corps of the United States. I hope that you will join.
Carol, that highlights, I think, what the Peace Corps was about in 1961 and what it has been for the last 60 years. I'm just curious, the three goals that you mentioned of the Peace Corps, the third goal is to bring the experience home. How important is that for a volunteer who's been in the Dominican Republic or Colombia or wherever it might be, Ethiopia, to come back and to share that experience and to build on that international experience, to join a Rotary Club or to do other activities that have local interest, but also international linkages?
Well, Bill, thank you for that question. The 2 years that volunteers serve overseas is just the beginning of a lifetime of service and a beginning of their contribution to service and to the goals of Peace Corps more broadly. So we consider someone who served in Peace Corps to always be part of the Peace Corps family. And they really do carry that very deep and personal experience with them in whatever they do next. And we meet up with returned volunteers who are serving in the State Department, who are serving in the U.S. Agency for International Development, in nonprofits around the United States and around the world, serving through Rotary. And really the experience of living in a different culture at the community level, at the level of the people you are serving, is a deeply profound and personal experience that really changes perspective and really helps you understand and live through the struggles that others are living through. And I think that changes a person, and in a very positive way, really is something that they can continue to contribute throughout their professional careers and in their personal interactions with people from around the world.
It certainly does. It really does. Well, you're watching Global Connections Television, which is a privately funded, independently produced program. The opinions expressed on Global Connections are solely those of the moderator and his guest. We'd invite our viewers to go to our website at www.globalconnectionstelevision.com to view previous programs. Also, if you're involved with a PBS or community access television station, or perhaps an educational institution that has an intra-campus television hookup, or you have a podcast, or you just have a computer, you like our shows and you'd like to share them, please feel free to do so. Global Connections Television is provided at no cost as a public service to help us better understand international issues and how they impact our lives. Today, we're taking a look at two very unique and very important international operations, Rotary International and the United States Peace Corps. My guests are experts on these two organizations. John Hewko is the General Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation. Carol Spahn currently is the Acting Director of the U.S. Peace Corps and a former Peace Corps volunteer in Romania. John and Carol, you two are, I'm so delighted you're with me today, but I'm so delighted that you're involved in working together on a variety of programs. Now, one thing that we wanted to really talk about today was this Rotary Peace Corps Week. Let's move into that. I want to show why don't we just show the videos? John, you cut a PSA and so did Carol. Let's show them back to back, and then we'll come back and talk about them.
Hello, I'm John Hewko, the General Secretary of Rotary International. And I'd like to encourage you to take part in the first ever Rotary Peace Corps Week this September 20th through the 26th. The week of events and activities is hosted by Partnering for Peace, a group of returned Peace Corps volunteers who are also Rotary members and are passionate about the impact we can all make together through the official Rotary Peace Corps partnership. The week will begin with a webinar on September 20th, providing an overview of the partnership and including examples of how Rotary and Peace Corps, by working together, enhance goodwill, grow international understanding, and build capacity in communities around the world. So how can you get involved with Rotary Peace Corps Week? Well, to join in our celebrations this fall, you can, for example, do something as simple as dedicate your program that week to a returned Peace Corps volunteer, Peace Corps recruiter, or a Partnering for Peace member. Or you can do something as elaborate as organizing a joint service project or social event to bring together Rotary members and returned Peace Corps volunteers in your community. And you can find more ideas on the website at partneringforpeace.org or by contacting Partnering for Peace directly at info@partneringforpeace.org. And of course, they'll be more than happy to assist you with ideas and planning. So please share this video with fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, and Interactors, as well as other members of the Rotary family and larger network. And so thank you again, and I'm looking forward to seeing you this September 20th through the 26th for Rotary Peace Corps Week.
Hello from the Peace Corps, or as I would say during my service in Romania, Bună ziua. I'd like to encourage you to take part in the first ever Rotary Peace Corps Week this September 20th to 26th. This week of events is hosted by Partnering for Peace, a group of returned Peace Corps volunteers who are also Rotarians. Throughout the week, there will be opportunities for RPCVs to connect with Rotarians in their communities through service projects, storytelling, and idea sharing, reinforcing these two global networks that share so much in common. I will be participating in the National Peace Corps Association's Peace Corps Connect conference that same week. For ideas on how to get involved, visit the Rotary and NPCA websites. Peace Corps and Rotary's deep dedication to service is so critical in this moment as we forge our way forward through peace and friendship. Join us for the first ever Rotary Peace Corps Week.
Those were great. You've stolen the thunder for the rest of the show. We could all go home right now, but those were excellent. What is this Rotary Peace Corps Week that you're talking about? Why is it important? Why is it unique? And why should we all be involved? Okay, John?
Well, I think there's really, if you look at the missions of Rotary and Peace Corps, they overlap tremendously. The concept of making the world a better place, enhancing goodwill, fostering international understanding, developing concrete programs and projects in country that are really making a difference in people's lives. That's what Peace Corps volunteers do, and that's what Rotarians do. And that's why I'm personally so excited about this partnership that we have, because I think we bring to bear the strengths of two incredible organizations to truly make a difference in the world. I think with the active Peace Corps volunteers in the field, tremendous synergy with what Rotary clubs are doing on the ground. The Peace Corps volunteers, the active ones, bring local contacts and sort of community development insights. Rotarians will bring financial resources, people power to these projects. So I think in the field, a tremendous scope for Rotarians and active Peace Corps volunteers to collaborate. And if we're talking about sort of returned Peace Corps volunteers, of course, they always maintain their relationships with their host community and are sort of perfect Rotarians to come back to their home countries, join a Rotary clubs, continue to leverage the relationships they have in the countries where they serve, and then work now as Rotarians with active Peace Corps volunteers in the country they came from, to really continue to do great projects and to do great work. So I think it's sort of a marriage made in heaven, and we really look forward to sort of taking that relationship and continuing to expand it.
Very true. Carol, how do you view this?
Well, I couldn't have said it better than John just did. There is so much potential to work together. Rotarians bring tremendous diversity of experience, resources, and as Peace Corps Week comes up, it's highlighting just how many returned volunteers are active with Rotary and are still active in their communities, doing work overseas and in their communities here. It's a natural partnership of service-minded organizations. I don't think I could have said anything better than what John just laid out.
These partnerships are so critical, and Rotary, I think, through that Polio Plus partnership with the United Nations, CDC, and other groups, really developed a classic model. And now I'm so glad that Rotary and the Peace Corps are involved in another unique partnership. Has there been enough time to see, are there successful programs or projects you could focus upon, or not all of them, but a few just as examples of what you would like to do with this partnership?
Well, I can highlight a few. There are so many. In 2019 in Ukraine, Peace Corps and Rotary forged an alliance to develop the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. And I think we've seen in so many countries where we serve just how passionate the youth are and just how much potential there is for them to develop leadership and service opportunities. So in this case, 9 Peace Corps volunteers collaborated with 5 Rotaractors and 8 Rotarians, and they initiated the district's first Rotary Youth Leadership Awards and brought 17 participants together. They had a conference that helped young adults build skills in leadership, volunteerism, communication, public speaking, conflict resolution, team building. It was really just an amazing collaboration. And I've learned that they repeated the training in 2020 as well, albeit virtual due to the pandemic, which is just incredibly inspiring to see that move forward.
And John, there are many, returned Peace Corps volunteers who are members of Rotary today, and who are actively involved in local programs and international projects.
Yeah, and I think Carol just sort of gave a few examples, which I think is really just the tip of the iceberg, and again just really highlights the incredible potential of this partnership. We had a great one in Pretoria, South Africa, which really demonstrated how Rotary and Peace Corps can build local capacity through joint programming with the implementation of something called the Sounds program, and it's really a letter sounding program based on Montessori principles, and it really provides early childhood educators and parents with kind of the tools they need to help children build early literacy skills. And so local and international Rotarians working with the Peace Corps post in South Africa really trained a Peace Corps education volunteers in the Sounds curriculum, and provided sort of training materials for the classroom. So this is another example of how Rotarians and Peace Corps volunteers can effectively collaborate on the ground. And in terms of returning Peace Corps volunteers, a great example in Northern Virginia, where the returning Peace Corps volunteers put together a partnership with the Falls Church Rotary Club to support refugees. And so this is again one of just many examples of how our two organizations can really collaborate together and leverage the strengths both organizations. You mentioned partnership, Bill. It's all about partnership, right? We would not have been able to get to where we are today with polio without a great partnership. And we were kind of sort of achieving the same sort of thing with Peace Corps. It's all about 1 + 1 is 3, and certainly the Rotary Peace Corps partnership is a great example of that.
It certainly is. And for all of our viewers who are watching this show, and this program will air at different times in different parts of the world. So it may be it'll come out after September 20th through the 26th in your area, but you can always go to the websites at www.rotary.org or the peacecorps.gov, www.peacecorps.gov, or partneringforpeace.org to get more information on this and to participate. And again, congratulations on developing this from September 20th through the 26th for the Rotary Peace Corps Week of Peace, really. And of course, right in the middle of that is September 21st, which is the United Nations International Day of Peace. So it all comes together, and it is for partnerships. But keep up the great work. You're doing remarkable work. And I often think of Dag Hammarskjöld, who was the second Secretary General of the United Nations. And he one time said, and he was really trying to motivate the world, the countries of the UN and the people around the world to focus on international issues that have local implications. And he said, you've not done enough. You've never done enough, as long as there's more to do. Now, I know that's not Rotary and it's not Peace Corps' motto, but it's certainly sort of a guiding principle for both of your organizations, because you see that there is so much more to do and you're out there doing it. But I want to thank you so much and congratulate you, Carol Spahn and John Hewko, and thank you for a very interesting and a very informative program.
Thanks for having us, Bill.
Bill, thanks for having us.
My pleasure. I'm Bill Miller. Thank you for joining us today on Global Connections Television.